Hello and welcome back to the Sanderlanche podcast. Today we are continuing our coverage of Oathbringer with chapters 108, 109, and 110, wherein we are reunited with our crew in Shadesmar aboard the Honours Pass, and Syl remains imprisoned, unfortunately. Shallan, Kaladin, and Vale are all discussing their options of destination and escape, and that's an escape that it turns out they need a lot earlier than they were expecting. Azure makes her plans to separate from the group. Adolin makes a stunning confession to Shallan, which I am all here for. I'm very excited to get into that. And the Fused finally arrive. Meanwhile, back in Irithiru, Dalinar brings Venli into a vision, and Odium crashes the party, leaving the Stormfather quite a mess at the end. I am Janie, and this week with me is
Joe,
Data,
and Dak.
so much happening, so many moving parts right now. It's getting very exciting. So, without further ado, hang on to something. The Sanderlanche is about to begin.
Yearnings intertwined, the golden age in ashes once again. Under stirring stars, in the burning shards, kindle fragments of the fallen rain. So look to the break of dawn, to the break of dawn. Stronger together now.
So yeah, 3 chapters this time. Some interesting stuff. It was very, I think, front-loaded heavy. The first chapter was longer by far than the other two, and the last one was quite short. But what did you guys think of these 3 chapters?
I love getting back with our crew in Shadesmar. So all that stuff was good. I feel like, we are getting close to the end of the book now. Almost surprisingly, it feels like we've been in this book for a long time. But at this point, it's like I could tell it's like we're standing on a precipice. We're standing on like the edge of a cliff of things about to change or some climactic stuff about to happen. And so to get to see like Kaladin, it seems almost like he's on the verge of saying the next words. And so it's like, oh man, that's exciting because obviously there's some stuff going on. Like he's doing stuff that Honor Sprint are like, wait, how is he doing that? It's like there's something different about this guy. It's almost like he's giving them a little bit of hope. And so definitely some cool stuff in this section with the Shadesmar peeps, where Azure's, I guess, departing our team. We got some confirmation seemingly about who she's after and what she's after, so that's interesting. And also the Dalinar stuff, yeah, like taking Venli into that. It feels like Venli's going to have a redemption arc, even though we weren't super big fans of Venli, nor should we be, I don't think, based on past occurrences with her sister. We were all kind of starting to get behind Team Eshonai, and then Eshonai's gone, so it's kind of a difficult transition to make, to be like, should we get behind Venli now? But I don't know. I feel like there's some redemption stuff possible for sure. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed this section of chapters. I feel like we're making our way towards the climax of the book. What that is exactly, I still don't know, which is kind of not terrifying, but kind of like, why shouldn't I know at this point what's going to happen? But I feel like, nope. I feel like my predicament powers have diminished throughout this series. I think because the series is so long and so much has happened and could happen, it's like, how do you even begin to make like a prediction at this point? So, but yeah, so good stuff, but excited to get to the meat of the climax.
Yeah, it really does seem like we're kind of approaching something here. Last time, which, Joe, you missed that one, obviously. So I guess if you want to say anything about those chapters, too, feel free. But last time I mentioned it felt like these were very much setting things up, getting us ready to move into the end somehow. And now we appear to be moving that direction. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. As for last week's stuff, I mean, I think the only disappointing part for me was we didn't get any more Shadesmar stuff from last week, but yeah, I mean, it's all kind of a setup, I feel like. And like I said, these chapters, especially the Shadesmar stuff, to me felt like we're standing right on the edge of it. So like, I really want to just take that plunge and figure out what's going to happen next.
And I also interesting what you said about Venli, because yeah, it's like, are we supposed to... Venli's experience clearly sucked and is sucking on multiple levels. And so, and then there's a couple little glimmers of something there.
Yeah, but she instigated, a lot of the stuff that she's now experiencing, like, and who knows how much influence Odium had over her when she first started on this path. But I mean, she instigated a lot of what she's experiencing now. So like, should we?
Yeah.
How bad are we supposed to feel for her? What kind of redemption are we supposed to expect? That's all kind of stuff that's like going through my mind of like, how much are we supposed to care about this character? Because we have an experience with our podcast where I feel like for the most part we have differences of opinion sometimes, but for the most part I feel like we're all generally having a similar experience with how we feel about the characters. But then we hear from people who are like, oh, Moash can't do any wrong, and I'm just like, what? So I'd be interested to know like how other people feel about Venli at this point in the book. Are they like, yeah, she deserves a redemption arc for her sister or whatever? Like, do people feel like she deserves that at this point? That'd be interesting to kind of get different perspectives on.
Yeah, on some level, it's definitely kind of like a you made your bed thing, although we don't know all the details necessarily. For Venli, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, solid chapters. Good to be back in Shadesmar. Some real, very interesting stuff with like the Honest brand, how they're reacting to Kaladin. I'm really not comfortable with the fact that Shallan is just so easily drifting into Vale and doesn't even realize, and then back out again like that. That's not particularly thrilling. Azure, yeah, I guess like any doubts I had about her being Vivenna are gone now. She outright says, "Yep, I'm after like the blade that leaks black smoke, and the dude who brought it here." And then later on, they says like, "Wait, you know Zahel?" And it's like, "Yep," and tell him I'm looking for him. Like, okay, guess that's all but confirmed then. And yeah, I don't know how to feel about Venli. Because, like, she has an absolutely terrible lot in life, and she was deceived in order to get there, but she still made the choice to get there knowing it would fuck some shit up for her people. So, like, how sympathetic is she supposed to be right now, really? There's sympathy for the devil. Not quite devil, but, you know what I mean. But yeah, no. Like, solid chapters. I also am just like, how is this going to be resolved? I've got no freaking idea. So... well, let's just see. Let's just ride the walrus.
What? Wow, wide. Ride the walrus.
Ride the walrus just blew everything else out of my brain. Oh my. Okay, but yes, I guess at this point I can confirm for you guys that is in fact who you thought it was.
Nice.
You have Vivenna in the story popping up. Apparently, she's been through a lot since the last time we saw her, but she's still kicking.
What the hell's happened between her and Vasha? Last time we see him, they're just like, we're gonna go roam together, and now it's like I'm hunting him down.
Yep.
Okay. What?
How much time has passed between when we met them and now?
We don't have an official word, but the timeline that I've been using, that just when we talk about time things, let me check it real quick because it's just like the best fan guess at this point. So let's see here. Nalthis, there's the Many War, the Pancall Rebellion, where Warbreaker takes place, is 10/8/26, and this book would be calculator. 26. About 133 years is what this has between the two.
Yeah, okay, so definitely some time for some stuff to go down.
Yeah. Want to pay? I mean, we can get into it when we get to that point, but apparently also she's made like... see, it sounds like, just based on the brief thing that happens between her and that other Spren, it's like she's made some kind of blade that may be similar to Nightblood, but more controllable. So that's interesting as well.
And we talked about that possibility before, about like if this was another blade like that, like what command would you have given it if you learned from the mistakes with Nightblood? So maybe it is, yeah.
Semi-sentience, a VI instead of an AI.
And yeah, why would she be hunting down Nightblood and Vasher, like criminals here? That's... Not that Vasher seems to be explicitly hiding. I guess he did change his name,
But she knows his
He
name.
doesn't appear to be on the run though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she does say Zahel, doesn't she?
yep.
Well, hey,
Well-
does she say Zahel, or do they say, "Hey, the swordsman who taught you that"? And they go, "Wait, you know Zahel?" And she's like, "Yeah, that guy."
Yeah, that's how it happens.
Oh, so maybe they accidentally gave her a clue. She's like, that's his name here, huh? I'll track him down.
Halfway through
I think
Rhythm
there's
of
only
War,
one Zahel in the Cosmere.
Yeah.
just imagine like halfway through Rhythm of War, they're dealing with whatever conflict is going on. Like they're all behind Dalinar, and then all of a sudden, Azure just drops through the roof and just punches out Zahel, and everyone's just like, do you mind? We're in the middle of something. And she's like, "Sorry, I'll be right out."
She's like, I do mind, actually.
It might be more interesting watching her if she's trying to capture Nightblood, then she's gonna have to deal with Seth. So that could be tricksy. Also, it's funny because she talks about the blade, and none of our characters in Shadesmar know what blade she's talking about. So we do.
No, that's purely one of those. Hey, audience, wink.
Cool. So yeah, like you said, Data, that first chapter is really where the heavy stuff happens, and that's, I guess, the stuff that I was really excited about. Shallan's cracking, and Vale's coming through, and it's quite a bit of a spiral now, which I don't want Shallan to have to go through, but I'm kind of excited that it's coming, to the forefront, because we might actually have to do something about it and deal with it. It was interesting to read it, and then I think you've got that first discussion between Shallan and Kaladin, and that's happening, and then all of a sudden Vale pipes up, and I was just like, whoa, what? Now it's like they're two different people in the conversation. So that's, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this manifests throughout the rest of the book and what happens with it, whether it's a resolve, whether it's something that they, I don't know, manage to work with. I don't know. I think it's a really interesting juxtaposition when she's like going through all these spheres, and the spheres have got a very specific identity tied to what they are, and she doesn't have that herself. So I thought that was just a cool way to think about it. And I don't know, maybe does that make it worse down here because she doesn't really have that set, like, who am I in her, like all these other objects? I don't know. It's cool to see how that plays out in the future. And what we really need to talk about is Adolin and his confession. Like, how do you get Shallan to stop spiraling? I know, confess to murder. This is not the way I thought it would come back up in the book, and I was really excited that it did, and they've actually had a conversation about it. And Shallan's response is probably along the lines of what I would have expected. Like, for you, good job, man. No one really liked him anyway. That's okay. But something out there now that, I mean, I don't think Shallan's going to do anything about it, but we now have a character who knows. So as soon as it's spoken out loud, who else might know? I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Right now, that's sort of the furthest from their problems, I guess. That's definitely our when they come back problem. That's cool that Azra is Vivenna, confirming that. I like that. I'm pleased that we were on the right path there. Yes, now that she's hunting Nightblood, it'll be cool to see how they kind of reunite. She's definitely on a different path to the other guys, so how they get out of their current predicament, I think, is exciting. It's all exciting. Everything. There's so many things happening right now, and this is the part of the book that I really like, because, like Joe with the predictions, I don't know where this book is going. I can make up some words at the end, but I don't know. There's too much up in the air, which is exciting and fun, and it's always really hard to stop reading at the end of the chapters you set for us. But yeah, exciting. Love where we're at in the book. Don't know where it's going. Don't know where we're going as a whole series, but it's fun at the moment, which is good.
Yeah, I knew that you would appreciate the Adolin confession here. It's like, oh my gosh, he's communicating with his fiance. Who would have thought?
Yeah. I didn't expect him just to be so forward with it. Like, yeah, I know this will get you to calm down. You think you've got a bad time right now? Let me tell you a secret. Yeah, Adelin's gonna be one that we've got to watch out for. I think. Look out for him a little bit. Things is not really coming up, Adolin.
It did just kind of pop out of his mouth there, huh? Like, oh, by the way. Yep. Also, I wanted to show you guys something. Here is when you brought up again the Azure and Vivenna thing, it reminded me that here's the pin from the Year of Sanderson that was Vivenna, and she has the sparkly blue scarf on, which in my mind was just like screaming, "Hey, I'm also Azure."
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And a sword, which I don't know that we ever saw her with a sword in Warbreaker.
I don't think we did. I was just about to say that.
She used Nightblood at the end, didn't she?
Yeah, but then it'd be black.
Yeah, I don't think she
Yeah,
used it
true.
as much as like she walked around. She carried it and brought it back to like where Vasher was. I don't know that she ever actually like used the sword. She never had
Yeah, okay.
enough breath that it wouldn't have killed her, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought I would share that real quick because that's one, you know, that came a couple of years ago now, and I was always like, oh man, are they gonna somebody gonna look at this and be like, hey, wait a second, that's Azure.
We look at it and just like, this does not look like how we pictured Vivenna at all. What is this?
Yeah, it's funny because if you'd shown us a couple of years ago, we probably would have been like, oh, okay. And then forgotten about it.
Yeah.
I think it was an interesting choice that they decided to go brown for her hair when this is a person you could put in lots of different colors of hair. But I think maybe they were just trying to lower the number of colors in the printing, and the brown is the same as her pants. So they were like, yeah, brown hair is fine. But yeah, I guess let's get into these chapters. We can address her more when we get there. We get another unmade mentioned here, who I don't know that we've this. I think this may be the first time. Let me see here. Yeah, I think this is the first time that Chemorish, the Dust Mother, is mentioned. And we don't get that much information. It's just, yeah, there's a bunch of varied lore surrounding her, and I don't think she's the Night Watcher, like some stories claim, but that's all we get. So, all right then. And we come into Shallan, who's on the ship, on the Honor Sprint ship. They're just like sketching. And they are, in fact, as Jamie mentioned, they're on the ship named Honor's Path. And they're sailing for what we find out later is a big Honor Spren city that they're heading for. Pattern says there's an Honor Spren stronghold near Carbranth called Unyielding Fidelity. So that may be where we're going. And they've let everyone out of the cells except for Syl, who is stuck down there, and Kaladin is not terribly happy about that. He says, prisons are terrible for me, they'll be worse for her. And he's got an idea. We're going to pass near Thalen City, just north of it. So maybe we can try to get off the ship and make our way there. She goes, well, if by just north you mean more than 300 miles, yeah, okay. In the middle of a bead ocean.
Put it like that. Yeah, I mean, that sort of sucks. But overall, that's not a bad place to aim for.
And she's not even sure that, like, there's an oath gate there, yeah, but she has no idea if we can use the oath gate to get back to the other side. So he's determined that this is what they should try, but it may not actually do anything. And then in the middle of Shallan's, like, thinking through what he's wanting to do, all of a sudden, Vale goes, we could try a mutiny. Maybe those Mistbren who do all the work will listen.
It's like, wait, what? Who's talking now?
And the change seemed to happen as she's looking at Kaladin, and she thinks, like, yet those eyes. And then all of a sudden, Vale is here. So, and Vale's like, maybe I can steal you back some Stormlight, and then maybe you could take these guys on. And Kaladin's thinking about, like, oh. And then I like the text goes, wait, had that been Vale? Like, we get told Vale said this, Vale said that, but it takes Shallan a minute to catch up to the fact that that's somebody else talking now.
Honestly, for a second, I thought I got mixed up in my head and thought it was Azure.
Azure that was talking, or Azure that said, wait, was that Vale?
Like Azure that was talking. It said Vale. I'm like, because in my head, I'm like, because it treats it as a separate person entirely, just like, and it doesn't mention Vale coming into the conversation. In my head, it's like, oh, the third person's joined the conversation, Azure, and it didn't actually properly read the name.
That would have made sense, maybe, yeah. And then it turns back to Shallan after she realizes what has just happened. And Shallan's like, I don't know, maybe it'd be best if we don't fight the Honor Spren? Which to Kaladin, this must seem a little bit like schizophrenic, where she's like, hey, we can do this. And then when he's like, oh, maybe, she's like, no, we shouldn't do that. And so he says, well, what if we do what we did back in Kholinar? Like, you get some beads, and if we can get our Stormlight back, we'll just jump, and you can make us a passage like you did before. Which tired her out horribly, and certainly was not 300 miles, so I don't know if that's realistic, but she's like, okay, I'll think about it. And he tells her to find some beads we could use just in case, so we're ready.
Better than nothing.
Yeah, to have something. And so she asks, like, hey, can I get some of those beads? And the Miss Spren, who she asked, runs off and comes back with the Honor Spren captain, Notum. He's like, okay, you wanted something? Yeah, I want to get some beads to practice, not like manifesting them, just visualizing the souls inside. It's part of my training, you know? And he's like, huh, all right then. She goes, oh, thanks. And he goes, it was a simple request. Just be careful. And we find out, she asks, what happens if we carry the beads far away from where their actual objects are in the physical realm? And he says, it doesn't matter. Their tie is through the spiritual realm, and distance doesn't matter there. So, but if you just drop them and let them go free, they'll work their way back to where their physical counterpart is. And she asks him, like, why did you let us out? Because he seems to be worried about this whole radiant thing showing up again. And he goes, it wasn't honorable. You're not prisoners. And she says, what are we then? And he goes, Stormfather only knows. Fortunately, I don't have to sort it out. We'll deliver you and the ancient daughter to someone with more authority. So, all right then. And Shallan spends a few days working on that, finding some beads that will work for their purposes. And she notes that Vale keeps kind of poking out at points. She even goes in so far she's wearing the skirt so she can feel more like Shallan. Adolin bought her one. But Vale keeps popping up. And then we see one of the Honor Spren, the first mate, show up with Azure's blade. Azure says, draw her carefully, don't pull her all the way out, she doesn't know you. And when she pulls it out a little bit, the Honor Spren's like, oh, it tingles. And she goes, yeah, she's investigating you. And Azure has cut a deal. She will explain, trade the knowledge of how a shard blade was created with no Spren. And what we get in return is she will be free once we reach their stronghold, and we'll get passage once we reach, apparently where we're going is lasting integrity. So it wasn't the exact place that they thought, but we get to hear two of the names of like Honor Spren cities.
Yeah, lasting integrity sounds like a covenant name for like a ship or a planet.
It does, right?
Oh, it really does, yeah.
And Kaladin is kind of pissed off. Like, Azure cut a deal for herself to go off and do whatever she wants to do instead of helping them. And she's like, hey, look, I don't work for you. I'm not even a subject of, like, Adolin. Whether he's king of Alethkar at this point or not, she doesn't say, but it's true. I'm going to do what gets me where I need to go, and I'm going to find the criminal that I'm hunting. And Kaladin's pissed off. He calls her a traitor. And she's like, hey, look, at some point, you're going to have to recognize the best thing you can do is just go with them and sort things out. And he's like, Dalinar's in danger. Don't you care about a guy that I don't know? In danger from a threat you can't define? Happening at a time you can't pinpoint?
Yeah, she just totally
was brilliant.
She calls him on everything.
No,
she's just like, what? Why would I care?
Which is completely fair.
Dalinar's in danger. Huh?
Some random guy somewhere's in danger.
I think it's like it's almost like we're starting to see the rigidity of like some of the power's effects on people in Kaladin. It's like Kaladin has a very rigid way of thinking, and he might have had a rigid way of thinking before like coming into his powers completely. But now I feel like it's like becoming even more rigid in certain aspects. It's like, but we've got to protect Dalinar. And Azure's like, yeah, dude, I don't think the same way as you do. And also, like, I don't have a stake in this. Like, I'm not interested. And it's, like, hard for Kaladin to understand.
Yeah, that not everybody is 100% on board with just protect people all the time.
Kaladin and Co also don't know anything about what Azure's actually doing either. So, you know, we all know that murder sword's out there. And that she's got to, you know, stop that from you know, pillaging Roshar. It's all perspective, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, they have no conception of how much damage Nightblood could do in the wrong hands. That's a really good point.
Mm.
And she actually says the Honor Spren may have some information. Borea, the first mate, thinks the weapon I'm chasing passed through their fortress a few years ago. A shard blade that bleeds black smoke.
Certainly sounds like Nightblood.
Yeah, unless there's more of them running around.
That would be fucked. Rhythm of War. You know, Seth is there with Nightblood, and then Azure just shows up following the lead. And it's like, no, that's not it. And Nightblood's like, hi, Vivetta. And she's like, no, that's not the one I'm after.
That would be a twist. Yeah. It's like, oh no, I like Nightblood. He's cool.
We're buddies. Can't really fist bump a sword, but...
And she makes a point, the same point that kind of Jamie made, but she's like, even if Kaladin's mission is critical, it doesn't mean that mine is not critical. And then Shallan goes and leaves her alone for a while and starts to draw. her drawings keep coming out wrong. She keeps drawing Vale's face on Radiant's body or vice versa.
Yeah, it's getting weird.
All right.
It's getting weird in here.
And she actually thinks about something that we brought up a couple of times, but it's like she hasn't tried to soulcast since that first time. She's only been focusing on the light weaving. And she's like, why have I been doing that? Just because I'm not good at it? Or maybe because I'm afraid of it?
I thought it was going back to what she was told by Yasna, which I know she's kind of had like a, I don't need to do everything Yasna says moment. But like Yasna originally told her at the outset, like, you should not practice soul casting. It would be very dangerous for you to do that. We need to take some time and we got to figure it out before you just start doing it.
Yeah, Yasna was going to train her, but I mean, for a long time, she thought Yasna was dead, and she still never kind of touched on it. So, but before we can get too deep into that, Adolin shows up, and she's like, "I'm just remembering." And he goes, "Good things are bad," and she goes, "All memories are bad." Which, wow, okay, that's dark.
Steady on, Kaladin. Wait.
And then things get weird. Where he's like, Shallan, and she goes, Shallan will be fine. I'll bring her back in a moment. I have to recover her. Which, of course, is confusing for Adolin.
He's like, say what now?
And then she says, which one do you like the most? Vale's the one who wears white. Radiant is the one who practices with the sword. I made her prettier than the others. You can talk about dueling. But some of the time, I'll have to be someone who can soul cast. I'm trying to think of who she should be. That's not a great idea.
No, making more personalities is not good.
So I've made all these personalities and it hasn't solved my problem. But if I just make one more...
Right.
I'll fix it.
We've got all these issues, but let's add more issues to the issue. That'll make it better.
Probably needs to be one of you that can do all of these things, Shallan. You really need to work on fusing yourself back together.
That might be helpful.
Fusion, ha! No, it's a different thing.
Shallan and Vale are doing the fusion dance.
Yeah, that would only last 30 minutes, though, so you don't want that.
So they need the Potara earrings, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and then just keep Potara earringing on.
Radiance and the rest.
That'll fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. Which they retconned into not being permanent anyway.
Oh, really? Does it last a really long time?
It's only permanent for Kais. It's not permanent for any other race that uses the Potara.
Oh. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I never watched Super.
No, me either.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Manga is better. The Dragon Ball Z manga versus Dragon Ball Z anime is pretty much one for one, except for some filler stuff in the anime. The Dragon Ball Z Super anime and the manga are pretty different.
Interesting.
I believe that.
The anime is already, it ended too, and whereas the manga is still ongoing.
Oh, yeah? So it's past the point the anime went to?
Yes.
Interesting. That's the next anime.
That's your manga moment from Joe on the Sanderlange podcast. Currently, for people who are interested, I'm currently reading Kagurabachi, which is good. Nue's Exorcist, also good. And what's the other one I'm reading? Those may be the main two, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, but if you like those anime or manga, hit me up. I think they're currently making Kagurabachi into an anime. Nue's Exorcist, I don't think is there yet.
She says Shallan is broken like a cracked vase where you turn the nice side towards the room. And then he just hugs her and she goes, what, no advice? Everyone always seems to have loads. And he says, you're the smart one. What can I say? Which is,
Adolin's a nice guy. I know we've already established it, but nice guy Adolin here.
Fuck yeah. Adolin, he's the best.
He really does handle this well.
Never thought I'd, again, go back to the first book. Did not think Adolin was going to come out as one of my favorites.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Steris flip. We're always like, oh, man, we love Steris. It's like, oh, man, we love Adolin.
Yep.
Adolin, at times, at times, I still like Kaladin more, but at times, Adolin's better than Kaladin. I'm like, come on, Kaladin. Chill out. Or chin up. Or get over yourself. But, Adolin, he's there. He's a good guy, Adolin.
So, yeah, she starts saying, I feel like I'm lying to people all the time because I'm different on the inside. That doesn't make sense, does it? And he's like, Shallan, I killed Sadius. Wait, what? And yeah, he tells her what happened. And she's like, wait, so all this time we were hunting down the killer. He's like, yeah, that was me. I feel kind of bad lying to you like that.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. Tricked ya.
If
Surprise!
if you had to if you had to tell your significant other a like major thing that you did that they didn't know about, is this the way you would approach it? I know you're in the middle of some turmoil, so let me throw some trauma on you that I had
Yeah.
going on with me, and we can go through it together.
We can be broken
I
together.
need to distract you from what you're feeling right now. And I think the best thing I could do is confess to murder.
Well, that's definitely a distraction.
Yeah, that'll do it.
If I was to have murdered a guy, let's say it's hypothetical,
Yeah,
right? I took a knife and I shoved it in his eye, and then I just left him there on the ground in a tower. All hypothetical, of course. How would you feel about that?
It's like, and let's be clear, not just any guy, but a guy that we hated, tried to
Yeah.
kill me on multiple
Prominent.
occasions, and then we had to
Prominent
investigate his
person.
murder.
Tried to duel him. He wouldn't. He outsmarted me.
It's an awkward conversation no matter how you do it. So maybe there's something to be said for just
Yeah.
the moment's already weird and awkward. Let's just go with it.
You know what? Let's just double down.
I
Like-
demand the right to duel Amaram. Ah, great, Kaladin, you messed it up again.
And for my boon, Kaladin pops into the middle of the conversation. Yeah.
I mean, it's like there's really no. I don't know if there was ever going to be like the best time to
Mhm.
reveal to your spouse that you've
Yeah.
committed murder. So maybe this was the best time.
Yeah, it's a tough. It's tough for sure. I did want Kaladin to interject here and be like, wait a minute, you got to kill the guy you hate. I want to kill the guy I hate.
I mean, Sadius kind of also on some level was the guy Kaladin hates, but not as much as
Yeah.
Amaram.
Yeah, funnily enough, it was like like not a direct hate. It was like I hate Sidaeus because I'm here now because of Amaranth.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But also it's like Kaladin, you're literally bonded to the spirit that says, don't kill people you hate if you're not supposed to. So
Yeah, it's got to be honorable. Like if
Yeah,
you- if
that
you
whole
killed it,
thing in
that's
itself
honorable.
also is weird. It's like, does Kaladin determine what is honorable? Like, what? I still don't get it.
Yeah,
I
I think
guess
we've
that was-
established that it's a bit unclear.
that was the whole thing with him in the parchment. He's like, wait, this isn't
Yeah.
right to do this, and that's
Yep.
why he had his little existential
Little,
crisis.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and I don't know. It's like, wow, I can't use words right now. Hold on. It's like Sill's like, yeah, you should know how to do this, and he's like, how would I know how to do this?
Oh, and he ends his confession with like, "Yeah, I'm a murderer." And Shalon, I don't think I'm sorry. Which I don't know if I felt like he would be sorry, but I feel like he's on some level realizing this himself for the first time. Where he's like, "I don't think I feel bad about it."
Well, this is a moment where he's separated from, again, you take the identity of who he killed out of it, and he's like, I have committed murder. I have broken the law. That weighs guilt on me. And now he's had time to process it and think about, yeah, but then you put it in the context of who it was, and it's like, you know what? No, I'm not sorry. Like, it needed to happen. He was going to try and kill me again, or my dad probably. In fact, that was what he did before I killed him. He straight up told me he was going to undermine me and my dad at every turn. So, yeah, it was murder, but he was still a fucking terrible dude who is himself a murderer. So,
Yeah, who in fact arranged for a lot of Adelin's friends to die. So,
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any argument from any of us that he's a bad dude that needed to die. Yes, he deserved to die, and I hope he burns in hell.
And then Shalon's response is, "Good for you." And he's like, "Wait, you're a radiant. You're not supposed to like be okay with this."
It's like, oh yeah, I didn't tell you, did I, that I murdered my mom and I murdered my dad? I guess I'm still not going to tell you that, by the way.
well, again, sorry, you go, Jamie?
No, I was laughing.
Again, like Adelin's yardstick is probably Kaladin, and he knows Kaladin's ideals are, be honorable, don't do anything like that. So, and I guess probably Dalinar has that as well. So, hold to the bonds and everything else like that. So, Adelin's idea of the Knights Radiant are, you guys are all super honorable and wouldn't condone this sort of thing. But it's like, different orders have different ideas, man. And Shallan's
Yeah.
order, we don't care about that shit.
You know, I feel bad because I just said, yeah, that guy deserved to die and he deserved to be murdered. And I was like, you know what? We've already taken a stance on this, official stance on the Sanderlanche podcast that murder not good.
True.
I feel like we turned our backs on that. And for
Oh,
that, I won't apologize.
We've broken the ideals. Our Spren will desert us.
It's fine. I don't have one. Always wanted something like that to spread a demon from
His dark materials, yeah.
for Stark Materials, you know, a Pokemon, a Digimon.
A talking sword?
A talking sword, yeah, I'd go for that. As long as it didn't murder people every time I drew it. Or try to murder me.
He's just like, hey,
Yeah.
don't you want to destroy some evil today, Joe? And you're like, geez, I'm just trying to work, man.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do my job, bro.
Really, the talking sword is very much not in line with the Sanderlanche's official position that murder is bad.
Oh no,
That's
he's all
true.
about it, yeah.
Yeah.
He loves to destroy quote unquote evil.
And
He's like, you draw him and he's like, someone's been naughty.
oh,
Whoa.
That's that was Robot.
yep, Robot Santa.
Santa.
I like her response, which is like, look, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I know the world is a better place for the death of Torral Sadius.
It's
then
like,
he's
well, that's good. It's good. Good you feel that way because I was worried you would think I was a monster.
Yeah. And he's like, well, father wouldn't like it. And she goes, Adolin, your father's a great guy who maybe doesn't need to know everything for his own good.
Oh, Shalon.
This is a great fiance, I have to say.
I don't know about that. I feel like it's a slippery slope.
She's got his back. And she goes, hey, but you never said which one of us you prefer. And he goes, I want the real you, the one I'm talking to now. Even if the vase is cracked, it just means I can see what's inside, and I like what's inside. And then they both like, crap. I know, how sweet is that?
Good guy, Adolin.
Then there's a noise, and they're like, crap, what's Kaladin doing now?
Once again, moment ruiner.
You could tell this was written after Mistborn Era 1, because like the dialogue between broken people that are in a relationship is a little bit better than the Vin, like, Ellen stuff.
Yeah, I can see that. Kaladin has taken a spyglass from one of the sailors, and they're like, hey, come on, give it back. Actually, what she says is, sir, please not.
It's a real Final Fantasy X moment for some deep cuts, if people know the scene I'm talking about.
Brandon's a Final Fantasy X fan, so maybe he knows.
Yeah. He knows.
Our daughter was, when she was younger, used to think that our stand mixer for the kitchen was our Google Home device, and she used to stand in front of it. And there is context, I promise. She used to stand in front of it, and she, Gugu, please or no, and that's all I could. Like, the delivery of that was all I could picture when I read those words.
That's amazing.
Yep. Yeah.
I love that. Oh, but okay. So Captain Notum shows up and he's like, "Hey, I'd prefer if you'd refrain from upsetting my crew." And he's like, Callan's like, "Well, I'd prefer if you let Syl go." So I guess we're both not getting what we want, huh? And
what a way with words Kaladin has. What a negotiator.
And the captain's like, I could just lock you up again, or even like toss you overboard. And he's like, but yeah, well, that would hurt Syl, wouldn't it? Because she'd lose her radiant, and I hear that's hard on them. And he's like, yeah, but she'd recover. Notum is trying to be kind of a hard ass here, and Kaladin is not having it. But we do find out some interesting Syl history, is the words I was trying to say. Where Honor used to make Honor Spren himself, and then he started having the Stormfather do it. I also love the fact that he's like, oh, by the way, I'm sorry to tell you, Honor's dead. And Kaladin's like, yeah, whatever. He's like, no, seriously, your god is dead. He's like, not my god, but yeah, I know.
Yeah, not my god, but sure, he's dead. Got it. Dalinar said the same thing.
Would you please appreciate the gravity of this? No.
I don't want to. You can't make me.
It throws him off a little bit. He's like, I thought that was going to hit hard. Okay, well.
It's like, God damn it, I had a whole speech planned out.
It's so funny that like a Spren would be in the position where he'd be like, I have to break some news to you, and then the Spren's like, wait, this human doesn't care. Does that make sense? I don't think it makes sense.
The Stormfather created only a handful of Honor Spren, and all of those except Syl were destroyed during the Recreants. They became Deadeyes, so the Stormfather was hurt by this and didn't create more for centuries. And when he did, he only created 10 more. And so all of the honor spren since then were created the way that Syl talked about, where a spren goes and gets some energy and raises it, and it becomes a child or whatever. So he says, my great grandmother was one of those 10. Only recently, even by your reckoning, was the ancient daughter rediscovered. So Syl is more ancient than pretty much any of these honor spren, but she was asleep for the vast majority of that time. So she's still young in a lot of ways.
So she's Fry.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Welcome to the world of tomorrow. She's like, what?
Syl is also interested in, new shiny things. Yeah, okay, it works.
The real question is, does she eat bachelor chow?
I don't know that she eats anything.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And so
but if she did, it'd be bachelor chow.
Notum notes that killing Kaladin will free her, even if it would hurt her. But there are other ways, at least until the final ideal is sworn. So something happens when you swear the 5th ideal, I guess. And Kaladin's like, "Are you really going to kill a guy just for that? Is there honor in that, Notum?" And Notum has to look away, like, "Oh, he's right."
Oh, burn!
And then Kaladin starts thinking about the ideals, the ones he's already sworn, and the next one that he's not sure what it is. He feels like it's close, but he's very scared of it. And he hears Syl's voice in his head. "What are you doing?" He's like standing on the deck. "What's up?" "I've tried to get them to set you free." And she goes, "Yeah, they're stubborn. It's an honor spren trait, which I fortunately escaped."
Sure you did.
Mm-hmm.
And something about what they're talking about or what he's feeling starts drawing wind spren, which are very rare on this side. They mostly live on the other side. So all the honor spren are kind of like, "Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful." And Kaladin surprises Notum by mentioning that the Stormfather has bonded a bondsmith. In fact, Notum specifically asks which bondsmith of the 3. And Kaladin's like, "I don't know what that means," but his friend is the Stormfather.
Yeah, so there's clearly some lore there which we are just being teased with. Like, we knew there was only 3 bondsmith, but we assumed that was just the Radiants themselves. And now he specifically says, like, Dalinar's the bondsmith. I don't give a shit about that.
Okay, so if there's 3, let's think about it. If there's 3 entities for bondsmiths, who do we think they are? We've got the Stormfather for one. I would guess maybe the ocean thing is another, but I don't know. I feel like we've had this conversation before. Have we had this conversation before?
Have we? I don't remember it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Ocean thingy. Was there another like nature one that we know about?
All the nature stuff seems to be coming through cultivation, who is a shard in her own right, not a spren. So
I guess that's true.
The ocean thingy was. I was going to try to say how you say it, but it's hard. It's like Kusa Sesh.
Why do you think I called it the ocean thingy?
Yeah, no, sure.
Brosidon.
Brosidon.
Wow.
King of the Broshan.
Stormfather, Ocean Brother, Brosidon. It works.
Yeah. It's Ocean Bro.
And we switch to an Adolin perspective of sort of the same thing.
Data just sidesteps it.
I am because I don't want us to run up against time here. So I'm kind of like,
sorry.
We're going to go down a real rabbit hole with this if we're not careful.
Sorry. That's funny.
We're still in the first chapter of the 3 we're doing, and we've used half of our time. So, Adolin is seeing Kaladin, and like he's lit up by these lines, these glowing lines of the windspren, and Adolin's he's like, this guy. And so Shallan, on the other hand, he watches, and she's like, he says that she changes, like her posture shifts, and she gets a look on her face that seems fond, even eager.
Ugh.
She's practically leering at one point, and he says he'd seen the sketches of Kaladin in her book, but seeing that look on her face.
God she damn, goes, we just had a moment. I confessed to murder.
What more do you want?
I really thought that would get her. She'd be mine forever if I just confessed to murder.
It usually
Poor
works.
Adolin.
So and she goes, "I need to draw that," but she just stands there staring at him. And Adolin walks off and goes to stand by pattern. And I love he goes up onto the high deck where Kaladin has gone, but they were forbidden to go there before. Kaladin didn't care. And there was even a note here where it's like, rules apparently sometimes they just don't seem to apply to Stormblessed. And so Adlin's like, I guess we can go up there now. And he goes to talk to Pattern. And he's like, kind of hard to compete with that. And Pattern's like, mm-hmm.
Man, I want more of Adlin and Patton hanging out. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's like I know I'm supposed to be bonded with Shalon, but you seem like a real fun guy to be around.
I mean,
But no mating, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, they're the two most important figures in Shallan's life right now.
That's true.
Apparently not. Apparently Kaladin's squeezing himself in there. We don't know.
All right, Patton, you hold. I'll punch.
And my favorite line where he's like, he tells Pattern, we certainly are an odd bunch. And Pattern goes, yes, 7 people, odd. The math jokes.
He just loves the numbers.
Adlin just lets it go. He's like, yeah, that's just what Patton's like.
But then the captain spots something with a spyglass. It turns out that he tells Kaladin, you were right to think we might be followed. There are his scout has seen fused on the horizon. 8, they say, and they're coming right for him. So that's where we end that chapter.
And you know, on some level, probably both Adlin and the captain are just like, thank God it interrupts this awkward moment that we're all respectively having.
Quite possibly, yeah.
Adlin could just confess to murder again. Just really break the ice.
Who else?
Hey guys, guess what? Guess what I did? I killed Sadius. Oh, cool.
Kaladin would 100% be like, just give him like a bro nod. Like, cool.
Fuck yeah.
It's like, took you long enough.
The next chapter, Neshua Kadal, which was a phrase that we heard all the way back in the first book when they were fighting Parshendi and they saw Kaladin start glowing, and the Parshendi are like, Neshua Kadal! But we never got a translation of exactly what that meant. We get it here. A Venli perspective, and the epigraph, Ray Shafir, the Midnight Mother, is another unmade who appears to have been destroyed at Aharietium. Well, we know that's not quite right, but...
Yep. Load of fat bollocks, that one.
I assume that probably she was imprisoned in the tower, and that since she hadn't been seen since then, Hesse assumes she was destroyed.
Yeah.
Oh, so does that mean Shallan's actually unwittingly unleashed her on the world? Well, that ain't
quite
good.
Possibly, yeah.
Well, she went deeper in the tower, right? She didn't go out into the world.
She went down into the tunnels into the mountain.
We
know
there's an exit.
We know that we actually know there is an exit because in that earlier chapter where Dalinar was like, you didn't walk to your Etheru to Noadon. Noadon was like, no, I did. I had to have some people help me get up through the tunnels in the mountain to the tower. But, I think that counts.
Interesting.
So there's a way in and out down there somewhere. But Dalinar and Navani are examining the tower, and there's some interesting stuff. There's stratas of different color rock and crystal. And there's a discussion about garnets make blood in soul casting, which Donald's like, well, that sounds useless. Although I think we know that it is not, in fact, given that Yasna cured Shallan's poisoning that way.
Right. But Dalinar doesn't have big brain. He doesn't know. The whole thing was actually pretty interesting to me. Sometimes when we get into the sciencey stuff, I find it interesting, and other times I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I actually like the idea that the tower is actually probably a living thing with blood running through it. I was like, that is different and interesting.
Yep. And Dalinar's like, well, if it was alive, it's dead now. And she's like, or it's sleeping.
Yeah, dormant. Another
if it is sleeping, we don't know how to wake it.
Yeah, that's true.
Just imagine it's we can wake it up. Turns out it has limbs. It's you got all those thunderclasts outside of Kolinar, marching for battle, and all of a sudden Urutheru, the walking tower, just fucking hunts them.
Yeah, turns out this thing runs on Koloss. What's a Koloss?
Jesus Christ.
Runs on. Do you mean they have to carry it, or you have to burn some Koloss?
You have to burn them.
Okay.
With their Smurf skin.
Into the Koloss grinder.
And they get what sounds like confirmation from Fen based on some stuff that's happening. The enemy is building up a navy. They're going to come for Thaylen City. So we're going to have our next meeting there to plan the defense. And so Dalinar is about to have the Stormfather bring him and one of the enemy into a vision. And he's like, you know that first rule of warfare? And Navani's like, wait, is that the one about terrain or the one about attacking where the enemy is weak? He's like, no. The first rule of war is know your enemy. So that's why we're going.
First rule of war is you don't talk about war.
And so we go into that first vision he had of Noadon. And this time it's Venli who gets to be in the position of like Noadon's advisor or whatever. And she's just confused. Like, what the hell is going on? Did Odium bring me in here? No, it's not the right storm for Odium to have done it. What is happening? And eventually Dalinar has to break in and be like, hey, yeah, kings, they need you downstairs. Okay. And then he tries to have a conversation with Venli, who first is like, why did you bring me here? And he's like, I want to talk. And she's like, oh yeah, now that you're losing, you want to talk. You spent years slaughtering us on the Shattered Plains, and now you want to talk because we're winning now. And he's like, actually, we were willing to talk back then too. You guys just messed that up.
Yeah, in fact, Venli's the one that messed it up.
Yep.
Yeah, Dalinar doesn't even know, but it's like Venli specifically is the one who fucked that up.
Which just makes it all the more that she's like, oh, now you want to talk. It's like, no, you were trying to avoid making a peace agreement. And so Dalinar's like, look, I'll send you back soon. It's fine. What will it cost to have a truce between us? And she's just like, well, your kingdom for one. And he doesn't exactly like that price. He's like, well, can't we figure out, like, we'll help you build your own kingdom? Do you need ours, really? And it does seem like it's going to be hard for them to come to an agreement. Not that I think that Venli can make a binding agreement for the other side in any case, but she doesn't mention that. And then in the middle of the conversation, suddenly there's a thumping sound in the air. The air starts to break. And it's like, oh no, Odium's here. This is why there can't be negotiation, human. You want peace? Surrender. Give yourselves up and hope he doesn't care to destroy you. Which, okay, so yeah, that's not the best terms. And it's actually kind of a dramatic scene as Odium tries to break in various ways, and she's getting kind of tossed around while Dalinar is using his power to hold a beachhead, basically, against Odium's power, destroying everything. And this is where we find out Neshua Kadal means radiant night, because she's like, against her own better judgment, she's very impressed seeing what Dalinar is doing in here against Odium. And eventually he's like, go, and he kind of throws her out so that Odium won't find her here. And when Odium breaks in, he just finds Dalinar. He's like, what were you doing in here? Oh, looking for answers from the dead, huh?
Yes, that, and nothing else.
Absolutely nothing else. And Dalinar's like, can there be peace? Is there a way for us to make peace? And Odium's like, yeah, of course. There's going to be peace. And Dalinar's like, well, after you destroy Roshar. And Odium goes, no, after you destroy it, Dalinar. I'm the one who will rebuild it.
Now I'm confused.
And there's more Odium making himself out to be, I'm the nicest guy ever because I understand passion. My passion will like rebuild the world after the petty mortals fuck it up.
Yeah. He even says here, like, oh, it hurts, doesn't it, Dalinar? I know pain. I'm the only god who does, the only one who cares.
Get fucked, Odium.
Yeah. We all know Sazed knows pain.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's been through it. Presumably all of the shards were mortal at one point, but
yeah. And I know, like, you know, we're still in the middle of this long Cosmere story, but it's like, I want to know about these people more before everything, but, you know.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Come.
Eventually. When I'm like 50.
And the vision sort of ends with Odium patting Dalinar on the shoulders, like, be strong, Dalinar. I have faith even in you, even when you don't have it in yourself. Push through the agony. Then you will be victorious, my son. Which, all right. And after the vision ends, Dalinar can feel the Stormfather weeping, crying like a child, whispering that Odium was too strong. Because he spent that whole time trying to hold him back. That sucks.
He made a pretty good effort, considering how long Odium was knocking at the door.
Yeah, right? Like, good job, man. Clearly, it hurt. Our last one, A Million Stars. The Midnight Mother created monsters of shadow and oil, dark imitations of creatures she saw or consumed. We kind of knew that much, yeah. So apparently, Captain Nodum has arranged, they freed Syl, and they're going to arrange for them to be able to escape through the bottom of the ship. There's a cargo door or something. The enemies are getting closer, and the captain's like, okay, go, guys. Hurry. I cannot promise my crew, once captured, will be able to keep this secret for long. Azure, on the other hand, is staying behind. She's already cut a deal with these guys if they make it where they're going. So she also says that they'll have a better chance with her there. And Kaladin tries to apologize, and she's like, no, it's fine. Don't fear for me, Stormblessed. You have a much better chance if I stay here, as will these sailors. And when you boys next meet the swordsman who taught you that kata, warn him I'm looking for him. Then she says, "Notum, have your sailors been cutting those bales of cloth into the shapes I requested?" And he goes, "Yeah, but I don't understand." And she, "Yeah, you will soon." And I don't think we ever find out what that was about.
I mean, if I had to take a guess, I would say like she wanted them to cut them into like people shapes so they could like wield stuff. I don't know.
That was my
Yes.
assumption too.
Now, since we know that she's from Nalthus, we know who she is now. That seems like the most likely possibility is they will help defend somehow.
Yeah.
And she's going to awaken them. Shame our folks missed that. They probably would have really enjoyed that.
I'd be like, oh, this is cool.
And honestly, that also brings up, I think Dak mentioned back in the early chapters with Azure, like after in a fight, she kept having her cloak wrapped around her hand, and Kaladin didn't really understand it. And so it's possible she was awakening it to help her fight.
Yeah, I think I had.
Did you theorize that?
Theorized that, yeah, that she was, because we had seen that type of fighting used in that book. So I was like, I bet, yeah, she's just using that cloth to like awaken and defend herself with it. She could turn it into like a shield or all sorts of stuff.
But there's another possibility. If you guys remember the like once or no, the few times we've seen Seth do it once too. When you use Nightblood, like these veins of black stuff start creeping up your arm.
Mm.
And so I was like, maybe her sword does something similar, but she didn't want people being like, "Hey, what the hell is that?" And so she wrapped it so they didn't notice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so they go down into the beads, and Shalon has a bead that's a room. And so she can like generate that underneath the bead ocean, basically. And Adolin is really, it's like drowning with no water. It shouldn't be so hard, should it? All we have to do is hold our breath. Apparently it's not. There's something about the beads versus water that makes it worse. And they all jumped in holding hands, but we've lost track of Syl and Pattern, although Pattern kind of makes it into the room after a minute. Then he goes, "Oh, nice pattern, Shalon." And they're like, "Yeah, we can't find Syl, but she'll be fine." And Pattern goes, "Yes, Bren don't need air, so it's all good." And so they start walking along the bottom of the bead ocean, so maybe the enemy can't see them. They have to hold their breath because the room collapses around them and walk. And when they get to the shore, they find Syl, who says, "Yeah, I was hiding behind some trees. I saw the enemy going by." And there's a storm that way, too. So they've decided to use a couple gemstones worth of light, and Kaladin is going to fly them inward towards where they want to head. Hopefully the Fused won't treat the Honorspren too badly. So they're heading for Thalen City. Will they make it? Who knows? And that's where we end our chapters. For next time, we are going to read 6 chapters. That'll be chapters 111, 112, and 113, which brings us to the end of part 4. And those chapters are called Isla Stelle. This, again, seems to be like a proper noun, and I don't know how you would say it necessarily. 112 is For the Living, and 113 is The Thing Men Do Best. And after that, we will have 3 interludes.
Ooh, so that's the end of the part.
Yep, end of part 4. The interlude 12 is The Rhythm of Withdrawal. Interlude 13 is Risen, whatever. We've seen her name before. She's been an interlude in both the previous books.
Oh, yes. Which one was she again?
In the last time we saw her, she jumped
she
off
was
the
the
head of a
merchant.
giant crab.
Yeah, the merchant girl.
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah.
And interlude 14 is called Heft.
Hey.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's something we didn't. That's something we didn't bring up. That apparently Tess back on the fire, Moss.
Oh yeah, we mentioned that last episode. Yeah, he got in some trouble there.
Yep.
That's a real
in front of
it's a real bummer.
But yeah, 6 chapters. Well, 3 chapters, 3 interludes for next time, and then after that, we're starting into part 5. We're at the beginning of this section. We are 82% of the way through the book, so we're in the last 20%. We're in the home stretch, and we only have 6 episodes left of this book at this point. So, what do you guys think? Where are we going? What's going to happen next?
Man, like I said, I feel like we're right on the edge of something, but what that is, I feel like I feel like our predicament section for a lot of this book has been very tough and maybe not super enjoyable for listeners, so I apologize, but it's just like it's so hard to figure out what's going to happen. So I'm going to say some general things that I feel like could occur. I think Kaladin's going to say the next set of words by the end of the book, and so we'll get to kind of know what that is. I think Seth will have a meet up with one of our main characters. I don't know who that's going to be yet, but I feel like we'd be remiss to have this whole book and Seth doesn't see any of our main characters. So I feel like maybe that'll occur. And setting up for this next book, I feel like there either has to be some sort of climactic battle or some kind of climactic shift where we know like we have a chance to beat Odium, right? Because a lot of this book has seemed kind of like a hopeless struggle for our characters. And so it would be, I think, a nice climactic moment to be like, look, this is our way to possibly defeating Odium. I don't think this is going to happen. I hope Taravangian somehow his hand is exposed and they figure out by the end of the book that he's not a good dude. Those are the only things I can really say right now because I'm just kind of like saying this is what I'd like to see. This is what I'd like to see, but I don't know what could happen. It's there's still so much left to this era and to this story. So
yeah, I guess technically we're smack in the middle of this Stormlight era. So there is a long way yet to go.
Yeah, do you know, Data, how many weeks total is this book that we're on?
We actually talked about this last time too, but this one is 36 total episodes that we're doing.
Okay, and then what's the next book?
Rhythm of War is 38.
Okay.
And Wind and Truth is 40. I think I said it was 42.
Ooh, that's a big chunk of a book.
41, actually.
Yeah.
That's fucking massive.
That's almost a whole year in one book.
Yeah, we talked about that last time. It was like, given that we do sometimes take breaks, it may actually end up being like a year on that one. We'll have to see. But yeah, so we got a lot of Stormlight left, which is one of the reasons that after each book, I'm like, do you guys want to take a break? Because I know that it's been a lot and there's a lot yet to come. So, but yeah, and this book in particular, I feel like at this point, it's still real tough to figure out where we're going. Although this set of chapters kind of, I think, sets up, we've got Kaladin and co heading towards the Oathgate in Thaylen City. We've got Dalinar and that group preparing for what they think is going to be an attack on Thaylen City. So at least we've got like kind of a geographical direction for where maybe we're headed.
That's true. I forgot to say that. I noticed that they're both potentially heading to the same place.
Yeah, I'm also just at a loss as to where we're going at this point. So we're all heading to Thaylen City. I feel like we have harped on like the 9 shadows around Dalinar a lot this book, so I feel like that is going to be our climax. Maybe it's like instead of like it's not actually a fused invasion of Thaylen City, they're just blockading it so that nothing else can get in. And they're trying to blockade it from the other side to make sure nothing can use the Oath Gates to get in, but Kaladin that will use it to get in. But yeah, I feel like the climax is like if I had to guess what the climax is at this point, it's Dalinar against the 9 shadows. Maybe they use the Oath Gates and just pop up around him, but then Kaladin and co like sort of ride the open gate in and come through as well and help him fight back. I don't know. I don't know how that confrontation will go down. I don't know how it would be resolved. I really don't know a lot. Yeah, I don't know what we're building towards with Venli, if it's really a redemption, but I feel like she is going to be key in like thwarting at least some of Odium's plans. So I don't know how. Again, I just don't know how because I don't know how any of this can resolve. Like there was something that occurred to me. This is not something that I think will or will not happen at all, but it's just something I'm hoping for. Like we've talked before about sometimes you get the characters who like they have no powers and they're surrounded by all the other characters who do. And it really seems like Adolin is that guy for us. But I really hope he stays that way. Like I hope he can make some peace with his Deadeye's sword or something. But I want Adolin to remain like I mean, he's kind of got superpowers because he can use the sword, but he's not like a Radiant. So I want Adolin to stay that. If Adolin becomes a Radiant at some point, I'm just like, oh, that's disappointing. He was great as like the charming regular dude among gods.
I will say I've always been a fan of that kind of character who is a normal human having to use whatever they have in a world of non-normal, opponents.
He's the Batman, is what you're saying?
Yeah, Batman, the main character in the Codex Alera series.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I still never read those. I need to.
And then, well, and like Mistborn Era 1, like I am still bitter that, Doxson didn't get to do shit in those books. So like that was another example. I really like Doxson as that character, because he seemed like a really cool version, but then he didn't get jack crap to do, and he died at the end of the second book. So
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah. Karen Murphy from Dresden Files, also a great example.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Yep.
Honestly, after what we see, where like Adolin meets his sword in this book, it always, ever since Radiant started showing up in the books, people are like, "Ooh, what order will Adolin end up being?" Like theorizing about that kind of thing. And I was always of this camp, kind of like Dak is saying, where I'm like, I like Adolin not being one of those. In fact, like if he could build a relationship with his sword and find a way to like create a new kind of relationship between himself or between the people in Spren that didn't involve the dangers of becoming a Deadeye that like this bond does, I was like, that would be the ultimate cool. And
yeah, that is cool.
Not a position that a lot of people in the fandom liked. There was
Really?
the fandom was very large. Like Adolin's going to be a Radiant. It's just we're just waiting for the moment for the right situation or Spren to come along. So obviously, I won't spoil whatever direction it ends up going for you. But at this point, that's what my opinion was, and it wasn't the most popular one.
I guess like I don't know why they have to why is it so important for him to become a Radiant, just so that he could be on equal because he's not even on equal footing. Like it's I don't know. I'm with you. Like I find it far more interesting for somebody to be like, no, you know what? They have this and I have this other thing that in my own way is just as good.
Yeah. He's the counterpoint to them. It's like everyone else has all these crazy magic powers, and he's just the guy.
Yeah, I feel like it would be almost a betrayal of the character to be like, no, you got to have these powers too to be like everybody else.
Yeah, Sokka from Avatar. That's another.
Oh,
great.
Yeah, dude.
100%,
Boomerang.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Space sword. Yeah. What a guy.
What a guy.
Oh, where are we going? I do think that we'll end up in Salem City for probably the end of this book. I don't see us spending a lot of time in Urithiru. It's kind of where everyone's heading to. I had sort of not forgotten about Teft, but he really wasn't at the forefront of my mind. I'm really keen to read his interlude because we know that he's sort of on the way to becoming a Radiant as well, isn't he, from memory?
That was what we got hinted at, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. So like there's still obviously he's going through a very rough time, but there's still opportunity for him to, speak the words and potentially have that kind of relationship that Paladin had with the team, like that they were squires. And that would be exceptionally useful, I would imagine. I'm not quite sure exactly what his bond was, whether it was the same as Kaladin or if it was different. Yeah, so like it would be it. What I'd like to see is that we've almost got a bit of support to be able to get pretty far in a battle against the Fused before Kaladin and co turn back up through the Oath Gate and ultimately win the day. I think we've still got we've definitely got a few loose ends, which I'm sure in some respects will be tied up before the end of the book. Obviously, the stuff with Shallan, the Sadius murder, which we know how that all came to be, but basically, I think Salem City is where it's at, and I really have no idea how they're going to wrap everything up before the end of the book. I don't know what's going to hang over, what's going to keep going. I'm just excited for the ride.
On board with this. I think at this point in the book, when it's clear that we're at least approaching the Sanderlanche, that is a good time to buckle up and be like, you know what? I'm excited for the ride. Let's do this. And I know I always have to push you guys because that's part of the fun of the show. People, volcano theory became a thing for a reason. People love that. So I'm always having to push you guys for predictions. But I get it. It's not always the easiest thing to come up with.
I mean, my volcano theory for this week was Urithiru the tower standing up and walking on limbs and kicking thunderclasts. So There you go.
That's pretty good.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to get better than that. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
All the while, as Joe adds that we're burning Koloss in the furnace
Yeah.
to power it. Yeah.
Yep.
Man, that's real Balam Garden type stuff. More Final Fantasy for you.
The fused army looks up, and as this shadow falls upon them, and just hear this voice: "Koloss power to through is mad."
I love it.
Real evil simulated Lincoln is back.
That's exactly what I was referencing. Thank you.
I mean, yeah, it couldn't have been anything else being referenced there, quite honestly.
Nice.
Oh my. Okay, let's move in. We'll do a couple emails, and we have one new patron this week, and then we can wrap up, y'all. So this one is from Ryan, and it's titled Book Recommendation. Hello, Data, Jamie, Dak, and Joe. All spelled perfectly correct here. Thank you, Ryan. You're very impressive. You paid
Fucking
attention.
nailed it.
Something you said in the last episode made me think of a different book series, generally called the Bobbyverse, which then made me wonder if any of you had read it. Because Google can summarize better than I can, here's a quote: "The Bobbyverse is a science fiction book series by Dennis E. Taylor following the adventures of Bob Johansen, a man whose consciousness is uploaded into a self-replicating starship after his death." So, anybody read that?
I'm not familiar with that.
No, sounds interesting.
It is something that I have seen repeatedly on Reddit, like recommended in like book recommendation threads when someone's like, "Hey, I like Brandon Sanderson," or "I like the Dresden Files," or something like, "What else can you guys recommend?" And I often see this series pop up as a recommendation.
Is it a comedy series? That setup sounds comedic.
It sounds comedic, right? Yeah, I don't know because
just the use
that's
of the name
detail I've seen.
Bob.
Yeah,
Like,
Bobbyverse.
Bob
the fact
isn't-
that he's uploaded into a ship, like, it just is weird.
That's like anytime you hear a character named Bob in fiction, it seems like they are just like the really chill, laid back thing. This is going to be an obscure one. There's an episode of Rugrats where they're all pretending they're superheroes, like because they were watching some cartoon that had superheroes, and like the cartoon lists, this is such and such who talks to plants. This is this person and powers, and then he gets to, and this is Bob. He drives the van.
It's like it gives me those vibes of the time I got reincarnated as a slime. Like, it's just weird. Like, hey, I'm Bob. I'm along for this weird ride where now I'm inside of a spaceship.
I had to go to the first one on Goodreads of this series. The genres show science fiction, fantasy, space opera, humor, and science fiction fantasy.
Space opera. Okay, Star
Wars.
At
least some level of humorous. I assume that probably a lot of books get humor if there's even some humor in there. Oh, okay, now I got to find out. Like the Dresden Files has some decent humor in there. Let's see if humor is added to Stormfront. I'm curious. No, Stormfront is fantasy, urban fantasy, mystery, fiction, paranormal, magic, supernatural, crime.
Misogyny. So, okay. Don't forget misogyny.
Maybe it does lean more comedic. The title of the first one is called "We Are Legion," and then in parentheses, "We Are Bob."
Yeah, it's got to be comedy.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd never even heard the summary before. Like I said, I've just seen people be like, "Hey, check out the Bobbyverse. You'll like that if you like this kind of stuff." So this makes me more interested. I may now go and check that out.
It makes me think of what were those detective books by the Simpsons writer?
Oh, yes. John Swartzwelder wrote a series of books about Detective Frank Burley, which are just... Yeah, it's...
they're pretty funny, as I recall.
They are hilariously funny, but the humor... they're very small books. I've got like the first 5 or 6 of them or something. But, hold on, let me bring that up. They are short books... little paperbacks. Let's see. The Time Machine Did It is the name of the first one from 2004.
That's a good one.
And it is, let me see the details. It is 138 pages. So, it's a little book. The comedy in these books is so like it just hits you to the point that I can read a couple of chapters and then I got to take a break because it's like too much comedy. That makes it sound like I don't like it or something. I think they're hilarious. I love them. It's just that I can't, even though they're small books, I cannot sit down and read them in one read.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of how I was with The Princess Bride. There's a lot of comedy after comedy in the book. It's hard for me to read through just because I was like, man, that's a lot.
I don't think I've had that same issue with The Princess Bride, but yeah, I get what you mean for sure. So yeah, if you're looking for something amusing. Let's see, I have John Short. There it is. The Time Machine did it. I was gonna pull it up on my Kindle and be like, so like second paragraph. I'll read the second paragraph to give you an idea. The second paragraph of the first book, where he's like, "As my exciting story opens, I'm being punched in the stomach." But I guess a lot of stories start that way. Most of mine do anyway. The guy who was punching me was a lot burlier than I was, so it hurt plenty. But I tried to pretend it didn't bother me at all, that I actually liked it. It was hard to do this convincingly because he kind of knocked the wind out of me there, so all I could do was smile and wink and give him the thumbs up while I waited to be able to breathe again. He thought I was making fun of him and started punching me in the stomach harder. Meanwhile, I'm not any closer to getting my breath back. Some days are like
Jesus.
that.
It just keeps going.
Yeah. It's like every line is a joke.
And so, yeah, it's John Swartzwelder is awesome. Best Simpsons writer, quite possibly, and he definitely does not pull any punches with his comedy here.
Get it? Because it was a
Pun intended.
paragraph about punches.
So anyway, check those out if you like comedy books. They're small, and I was going to say a quick read, except I was pretty explicit that for me they are not a quick read. Oh, okay. So we're back to the email that we were reading. Recommending a book series can be scary, can be scary revealing in a way. But this series is really funny. Oh, there it was. And seems like it may be your kind of thing. There are Bob replicants named Riker and Bender, space adventures, battles. Without going into spoilers, it's an excellent read that is not as heavy as some. Can't wait for you guys to finish Oathbringer. There are some banger chapters coming up. Thanks for sharing your time with us, from Ryan. So thanks, Ryan.
I am intrigued by this book series.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, I may actually have to go. I just finished. I bought a really nice, like, kind of faux leather-bound copy of the complete Sherlock Holmes that was like 1,000 pages long, and they're like, it's a little print, because there's a lot of Sherlock Holmes stuff. It's taken me a while to get through that book, and I just finished it today, and I was going to start like a Dresden Files reread or something, but I might have to go out and get the first one of those.
Is it green, the faux leather?
No, it is like a burgundy.
Okay, because I have like a very similar book that I bought when we were in... Oh, you didn't come with us to Galveston.
No, I got this one at when the new Barnes and Nobles opened here. They got a bunch of classic books that are in this style of printing, and I liked that one, so I grabbed that one. They have one that's Jurassic Park and the Lost World. That's like a cool white. I'm tempted to get that one next, but anyway, let's do one more email, and then we'll do our patron, and we'll sign off here. This one is from Angela 2. We haven't heard from her in a while.
Wow.
Yeah, I was thinking the other day, like we haven't heard from the Angels in a hot minute.
Yeah, I think Angela Prime. I don't know if she's still listening. She was in the Discord for the longest time. She had her own channel and everything, but I don't think she's been in lately. I think she kind of drifted off into other things. So if you're still out there, Angela Prime, we appreciate you. If not, Angela 2, you may get upgraded. This email is called Sprencasting. Hi, Sanderlange crew. I'm playing catch up with the podcast because at some point in training for my black belt, I needed to focus more on my karate stuff and was having a hard time paying attention to your conversations, I think is what she's trying to say. It says
who is Angela 2? Black belt? I mean, come on. This person's amazing.
Pretty badass, right? I have now passed my black belt test and still have you to thank because I realized Miracle of Sound is a great band to throw on to make you feel like a badass during your training montage. I love that. That's amazing. Glad we could help. I know this isn't the focus of the podcast, but I wanted to throw in my opinion on Sprencasting because I love the discussion, and my husband and I had a fun time coming up with our Dreamcast. So for Stormfather, she says Liam Neeson. Smooth, deep voice can bring the anger.
Oh, so, that's a good one.
No, yeah, that is good. I think that he fits. For Syl, yes to Anna Kendrick. She agrees. Pattern, Andy Serkis. She specifies, for those of you who don't know, the guy who played Smeagol/Golem.
Who doesn't know Andy Serkis in this day and age?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What are his other big roles? He plays the ape in Planet of the Apes, right? Yeah, Caesar. And then what was his character in Marvel called?
Ulysses Claw.
Yeah,
Claw. Mm-hmm. Classic. Oh, there's an upcoming Animal Farm where he plays Old Major and Mr. Jones. Interesting. He's in 2 episodes of The Simpsons.
He was also Alfred in the R-Pat's Batman.
That's right.
That's true too.
I forgot about that.
Oh, and I didn't realize he played the Raven in the Sandman. The podcast series. I was like, no, wait a second. The Raven was like Patton Oswalt or something, wasn't it? Okay, in the podcast, that makes sense.
Yeah, I never watched either season of Sandman.
I really liked the first season. Second season's okay. Anyway, sorry, going back. For Wendell, She says Kevin Doyle or Jeremy Swift, stuck up British quality, is what's in parentheses there.
I don't know them. I'll look them up.
No, I was about to say I have to look those up too. Oh, Kevin Doyle, I recognize when I bring up not the footballer, no, the actor. What have I seen him in? Oh, Downton Abbey. I was like, I know I recognize this guy.
Who's he in Downton Abbey?
He is, let's see, where is it? Mr. Molesley.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know exactly who that is.
And then who's the other one she said was Jeremy Swift.
Absolutely great.
Oh, Jeremy Swift's in Ted Lasso.
Oh.
Also Downton Abbey.
As?
Sprat is what this says.
Who the
Mary
hell is
Poppins
Sprat?
Returns. Yeah, I was like, I don't...
Sprat in which series?
Downton Abbey.
Okay, what is it, Jeremy Doyle?
No, this one's Jeremy Swift.
Swift.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. He plays, in Ted Lasso, he's like the assistant guy to the manager.
I've never watched Ted Lasso because
it's good.
I don't have that service.
Yeah. All right.
Honestly,
anyway, we should probably move on.
With British actors, I was just like, they're all in Harry Potter at some point, right? So that I can just see who he was in Harry Potter, but no. Okay. Ivory, Yasna Spren, John Lithgow, which we haven't seen that much of Ivory, so I don't know.
Oh, interesting choice.
Yeah. And finally, she says Nightblood. I know not a Spren, but hear me out. Or Gliss, who we know that's the name of Renarin Spren, who we also haven't really met, I don't think. Alan Tudyk, because he is a master when it comes to voices. I mean, he could do almost any of them.
Yeah.
Good Alan Tudyk. So.
Yeah, no arguments here. Like Alan Tudyk as Nightblood would be special.
Yeah. Absolutely could see that. Yeah. Wasing to the time of next and all the other things from Angela too. So we got a couple more emails. We'll end there. For now, we'll save those. Honestly, we've got like half of the emails we still have in there are ones that we need to save for later, regardless. But thanks, guys, for sending the emails. They're always fun. If you want to send us an email, the address is thesanderlanch@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram or Facebook or Patreon, like this person did. Our newest patron at the Shard of Adonalsium level is Kevin.
Ooh, Kevin. Thank you. You're a skimmer.
Nice. So yeah, our Patreon, I have just started putting up my reactions to Isles of the Emberdark as I'm reading it for the first time. So if you're interested in that, check that out. I feel like it gave me a lot more room to talk about stuff than the last book, Wind and Truth, did, which is what has been going up the entire year practically on our Patreon so far. So if you're ready for a change from that, check out my Isles of the Emberdark stuff. Hopefully, Kevin, you're checking that out. You're enjoying that. We appreciate you. But if you join our Patreon, then Joe will assign you a faring power. And if you leave us a 5-star review, send us an email at thesanderlanch@gmail.com with a picture of the 5-star review you left, and Joe will assign you a misting power. You can be a twinborn by doing both of the things. So thank you to Kevin and all of our patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you to the folks on our Discord. If you want to join our Discord, there's a link at our website, www.thesanderlanch.com. You can check that out. Thank you to everyone who shows up every week and listens to these episodes. You're all amazing. Remember, we are doing 6 chapters, 3 chapters and 3 interludes for next time, leading us right into part 5. But also remember that coming up pretty soon, I think we've decided we'll have one more episode that we record after this. Going into December, we are going to have a 4-week break on recording as we go into December. There'll probably be at least one episode that comes out in December, but then there'll be a 4-week break, and we will be back in the new year. We're doing that because between holidays and between me going to the convention, there will be little, if any, days where enough of us can make it to record an episode. So we'll just have to come back ready to play after the holidays. Be prepared for that. I want to let you all know way in advance. I know that I hate it when you get there and just people don't. There's no new episode and you have no idea why. So I like to let you guys know as far in advance as possible. But 6 chapters for next time. So if you're following along, read those 6 chapters. Music by Miracle of Sound. And Wasing to the time of next. Colo. P.S. Fasher. Haha, I'm still.
Corona's wide, supernovas die, fractured in the fateful fall of man. Feel the heart raging of a strength unseen, unity will bring the upper hand. So look to the break of dawn, to the break of dawn.